Hey boys and girls, Scotty the Redneck Canadian. We're going to start on a little adventure here today because I'm kind of retired and I got stuff to do. Anyway, today we're going to talk about this thing, the sun, and these things, solar panels. So I got some friends who keep telling me, oh, you should go solar, blah, 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 and I think it's a bunch of bullshit. But here I am standing in front of some solar panels, and as you probably know, I mean, there's branches laying everywhere. You probably can't see them back here behind me. They're everywhere because it's a big freaking mess because we had like a once in 100 years at least ice storm, and yeah, it just destroyed everything. And I was sitting here, I'm not gonna lie, I was in my little cabin over here, and there was no electricity, there was no nothing, and I was enjoying myself because before I built that cabin and before I bought this piece of property, the reason I bought this piece of property was because it had an electrical hookup. Otherwise, it was going to be like way too expensive to hook up the electric. So I got this, and that's why I destroyed the trailer that was there and built my little cabin on it. But I used to survive out in the deer blind, just with a couple little solar panels, and it was enough. I mean, you know, I could watch TV, and you know, I put up my little cell phone tower with the antenna and the booster, and I mean, Addie, my dog, that the See You Next Tuesday next door stole and murdered. We'll get to that because something's going to happen with that in the next couple of weeks. Anyways, yeah, Addie and I enjoyed it. I didn't mind it at all. So I don't know. I sold some of my stuff, outboard motors and stuff like that, and had some cash kicking around. I figured, we'll do something fun. And I kind of was like, I kind of wanted to go live like for a month without any electricity and running water. But I mean, I already did that for a week, and I used to do it all the time. So that wasn't really a challenge. So here's kind of my challenge that I'm going to do, and I'm going to include you guys in it because I guess you like watching my videos. I don't think solar panels are going to work, but I'm going to see how close I can get them to working. All right, so anyway, I got 3 of these. I think I'm going to get 2 more because I can put 5 up here on my roof. But let's go in the cabin, and I'm going to show you the numbers because, you know, those of you who actually know me, I was a certified public accountant for like the last 25 years. Stop. And a certified management accountant, certified financial manager, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And so I do know my numbers. So let's go over the numbers, and I'm going to show you why I don't think it's going to work. But then I'm going to go over a few more numbers because I'm going to work on the other end. I don't think we can generate enough power to replace Presque Isle Electric, but I think we can cut back a lot on the power that I use here. And let's go in and take a look and check that out. Yeah, he's all upset because that came with the Amazon truck today, and he's been having fun with it because he found, I don't know, somewhere we found another Frisbee, but it was just a cheapo one, and it was getting destroyed. So that's actually a Kong one, and yeah, he likes it, and it's soft, so it doesn't hurt when it smacks him in the head when he catches it. So, all right, come on in. All right, so we're back in my little tiny cabin here, and like, here's the deal. Electricity's like water. It's free, okay? You can just, all you have to do is collect it, right? And it's cheap to collect. You want to collect water? Go get a bucket, right? Go get a barrel to dump the buckets in. And then you got to put it on your truck, and then you got to take it to where it's at, and then you got to make it useful. Well, electricity's the same way. It's cheap to go get solar panels. You can get as many solar panels and stick them out there as you want. And you can you can collect all the electricity that you need. The problem is just like water, you have to move it to where and when you need it. How do you do that? It's not that easy with water, and it's not easy with electricity. So let's take a look at the numbers here. All right, so here is my latest electric bill from the co-op. This looks weird because they used to bill me once a year And then they switched everybody to monthly because they had a cash flow problem. Who go figure? They went and built this huge building. You know, I've been a CPA for like 25 years, and I can tell you, I can't even tell you how many businesses I've seen destroyed by the ego and building a brand new building. But anyways, they built this brand new building, and then they had to push everybody because they had a big cash flow problem. So, anyways, last year I used, it was like 8,013, I think it was, kilowatt hours. We're just going to call it 8,000. Okay. And then this last bill was from 311 to 311 to 410, but it was like the 30th or 31st that they shut the power off for like several days, and then I left and went downstate. So this one's probably a little bit lower. But last month I used 600 kilowatt hours. Okay. So what we're dealing with is 8,000 kilowatt hours. Okay. And if you add up this blah, 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 you end up with your current cost is, just shy of 15 cents per kilowatt hour, right? So if I got 8,000 kilowatt hours, that's going to give me almost 22 kilowatt hours per day, okay? And then that's my cost at almost 15 cents, okay? And then they got all these fixed charges in here. So let's just say I could get rid of Presque Electric. I could save that $338, but that's just a fixed cost. It's like almost $30 a month just to have them hooked up. Okay, so what I'm looking at is like $1,500 for the whole year, right? And this is why I've been saying for years, I'm like, this doesn't make sense for $1,500 to try to go solar. It just doesn't. So versus, here's the cost here. By the time I get two more at $160, right, I'm gonna have $800 in solar panels. Okay, I got an inverter used. They were like $600-700, but I got it for $250. The battery controller is $100, and then I'm going to need batteries, right? That's going to be several $100s. I mean, because if I'm going to use 22 kilowatt hours a day, then I'm going to need, you know, storage for a lot of that, right? Except for I'm not going to be able to generate that much. And so we're going to back up here. I'm not going to go out and buy an 18 kilowatt hour battery, because this is how much I'm actually going to be able to generate. Now, today we had 14.25 hours. It was 6:30 a.m. was dawn. Sunset will be at 8:45. So we got 14.25 hours, okay? My 5 410 watt panels is 2.05 kilowatts per hour, okay? So the barn, the roof on the barn would probably be the best place without building a solar array, not on a building. It got shaded at 5:30, so we had 11 hours, so that's 77% of the 14.25, okay? And the cabin started to get shaded, the roof, at 5 o'clock. So that's 6.5 hours. So that's only 46%. Okay. Now I looked up. Onaway has 1,652 sunlight hours per year. So using my 2.05 kilowatt hour 5 solar panels, I could generate 1.272 kilowatts, or 1,272 kilowatts. Okay. But on the cabin, I can only do 760. That's not even 10% of my usage, right? So I got over here, by the time I add in a bunch of other crap, I'm probably gonna have $2,000 in it. And then I'm only gonna be able to replace 10% of what I'm using for $2,000, and my total bill is only $1,520. This is what I'm saying. This doesn't make sense. So why am I doing it? Well, I believe I can get this number down significantly, and that's what we're going to talk about, is how we're going to get that number down significantly to make this a little bit more viable. All right. So if this isn't going to work, why am I doing it? All right. I'm going to see how because I said I'm going to see how close I can get. We're going to do something about this bill. All right. I started thinking about things. I was wondering why my bill kept going up and why it was so expensive. So there's a couple things that I'm going to do, and we're going to make videos on them, how I do them, and we're going to get this down. First of all, this fridge back here, okay? I don't really need a big fridge. That fridge pretty much is full of bottles of water and a little bit of food. And the freezer is problematic. When it gets cold in here, it doesn't stay frozen because the fridge doesn't run, and it's just typical of fridges. So I have a freezer in the back in the barn that is just a freezer, and it keeps everything frozen. So what I'm going to do, yeah, the fridge is running right now. I'm going to downsize that fridge to either a 7.5 or maybe a 10. I think that's a 10 or 10.1 cubic foot fridge. That's going to be more efficient. I don't know about the electric range. I really don't use it that much. So one thing I do know is a problem is this right here. This hot water tank is a problem. You see this? This is 120 volts, right? 1500 watts. You see where the heater is? It's way down at the bottom. All right. Every time you use the hot water, this thing kicks on. This thing kicks on constantly. So I'm using 1.5 kilowatts per hour. This thing, man, it drives me crazy. It's constantly going on, okay? So it probably runs 3 hours a day. But that's only part of the problem, okay? And I've got a plan to fix that problem. The other problem is this 120. So when we go to the box here, right, this is for the water heater. This pulls off of, there's two poles, right, for 220. There's one over here and there's one over here. And this one goes to here, and then it goes to here, then it goes to here, and each way, right? So this is the pump here. It's pulling from both poles because it's 220. This is only pulling from one side. Well, when they read the meter, okay, my buddy Danny told me this. He's like, yeah, you got to go back through and you got to balance the panel. Okay, so my fridge and my pump, boom, 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 are off of this. I'm sorry, my water heater are off of the same pole. So number one, it's not balanced. Number two, the one thing that's taking all kinds of power is bumping up the one side of the pole. So I don't think I used anywhere near what I got billed for. It's that the meter takes the higher of the two poles, and that's what you get charged for. So tomorrow we're going to swap this element out for a 220 element, and which sucks because I'm gonna have to take some of this stuff. When I built it, I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna have to take that, get into that panel again. Yeah, well, we're gonna have to get into that panel again to do this. But anyways, that's the first thing. Okay, the second thing is this dinky little pressure tank. Okay, I've got a big pressure tank out back, and we are going to hook up the big pressure tank because every time you flush the toilet, this sucker's going on. This sucker goes on all the time. This reverse osmosis, yeah, is like a big waste of energy, even though I love it, because it's constantly trying to push the water through those membranes and put it, there's a tank back here to go to that tap, and then it just dumps the rest through that red one here down the drain, okay? So we're wasting water. So we're going to swap that out. And then the third thing that I'm going to do is, if you go back on my maple syrup evaporator, you'll remember there's a pre-warmer that goes over one of the stacks. I'm going to make something like that, and I'm going to hook it up to a heat exchanger so that when I run the wood stove, it's actually going to heat the hot water. So anyways, I think that just swapping that over to 240 and hooking up that bigger bladder tank is going to make a significant difference. And I'm actually going to download the Presqu'île Electric app so that we can tell. All right. All right, so we're going to try to maximize the amount of power that we can get just here in the cabin, to summarize. And I'm going to try to get my electrical usage down. I started going through the cabin. I did notice, I don't think they made LEDs like that when I built this cabin back in like 2017. And I do use those. I think they're like 25-watt bulbs versus these ones here are LEDs and they're 6. So I do use those quite a bit. So I'm going to go through, I do believe this thing here, which is that thing, which is the access point for the fiber optic internet. And I think that's what made my bill jump up quite a bit. I think that thing uses probably $25 worth of power a month. Anyway, so yeah. Tomorrow we'll get working on this. It's supposed to rain, so it'll be a good day to do some of this stuff inside. And we'll do some videos, and I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do. Yeah, anyway. So till next time, keep your stick on the ice. And just remember, I've been in this league a long time. I found the back of the net with a lot of pucks, but I never met a player who could beat a ref. But we are going to try to beat the power co-op. All right? We're going to try. I'm going to try my best. I don't think there's any way we can get this place completely off the grid and live the way that I want to, but we're going to try.